now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Another oil spill in Bahamian waters. Good evening, I'm LaDawn Davis with the weekend edition of The Bahamas Tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. More oil has surfaced in water surrounding Grand Bahama. The spill was discovered today in the vicinity of Borco's jetty off Pinder's Point. Eyewitnesses say the oil spill could be seen for miles in the surrounding waters. Officials, including the Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, visited the scene. He says the extent of the oil spill is something to be concerned about. According to Dr. Darville's, Borco is reporting no evidence of leakage in its pipeline, but the company has launched an investigation into the discovery. This is one of several oil spills which have surfaced in waters of Grand Bahama in recent months. Back here in the capital, the country records yet another suicide. What would cause a young woman to want to take her own life? That's the question police and family members are trying to figure out after a 35-year-old woman of Foxer Road allegedly committed suicide last night. She was found hanging from a rope. Andrew Knowles visited and spoke with stunned relatives today about the ordeal.
A family is in mourning today after their 35-year-old relative unexpectedly took her life last night. Family members say Shante Gibson was discovered shortly after 11 p.m. Friday when a family friend went to check on her at her Fox Hill residence.
He was sent to check on her because no one heard from her or anything, right? So he said when he opened up the door, he just saw a hand. But he said he got scared, so he just closed the door and he ran. And then he called me on my cell phone. And he was like, "But y'all, come home. I think something wrong with Shante." So I tell my uncle, her father. So we rushed down here. And then we came in the room. Then we flip on the light. Then we just see her body just hanging there. Then my uncle just burst in tears. So like, oh, she hung herself.
Now, family members say Shante was found in this room right here, hanging from a closet door. And now all that remains is a blood-stained carpet.
The last time we would have spoke, she was in her jovial mode and happy. And she said, everything is okay, because I did ask her, how's everything? She said, everything is okay, Daddy.
Shante's father, Anthony Gibson, described his daughter as a quiet individual who kept to herself, which is why he's puzzled over the whole ordeal. Shante was single, without kids, and unemployed. The family met briefly today with Coroner Linda Virgil, who explained the next step of the investigations. In the meantime, the family will make funeral arrangements. Gibson offered this advice for those who may be going through a similar ordeal.
Continue to love your children, love your family members, keep check on them daily, and see if you can get into their heads and make sure everything is okay. The bigger picture that we need to realize that God is in the midst of everything, and He takes care of everything. He has a plan, not us, and we have to go with His plan, as rough as it might seem.
Meantime, relatives are still trying to seek answers over this tragic ordeal as they try and come to grips with the death of their loved one. Andrew Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Andrew. This latest incident comes at just a day after Jamal Kemp of Ferguson Way off Papal Track is believed to have shot and killed himself. At least that's what family members who discovered him on Friday say. Police have still not classified that incident. Meantime, two Kentucky Fried Chicken outlets targeted by criminals yesterday. The first robbery attempt occurred around 6:40 Friday evening when two males, one wearing a red sweater and the other a blue hooded jacket, entered KFC on Mackey Street demanding cash. However, the men were unsuccessful in their attempt and fled the area. Later in the evening, KFC's Prince Charles Drive location also became the target. Around 8:10 p.m., a male wearing a red jacket and blue jeans pants entered the establishment, allegedly armed with a handgun, and demanded cash. The culprit reportedly robbed the establishment of an undetermined amount of cash and fled the area, accompanied by a second male in a silver Elantra, which was stolen from a customer. Police recovered the vehicle a short time later on Garden Road. An active police investigation continues. 8 Dominicans are in the custody of Bahamian officials this evening, after they were arrested in Bahamian waters off Mayaguana. Police, along with residents of Mayaguana, including the island administrator, arrested the group around 10 a.m. Friday after they were found allegedly poaching. Police confiscated 4 boats, fishing apparatus, along with live and processed shellfish from the poachers. Now, the Bahamas government and Dominican officials have teamed up to curb poaching in local waters. Last year, a Bahamian delegation traveled to the Dominican Republic for high-level discussions on curb poaching, which has become a growing and challenging problem for the Bahamas. Among the issues discussed were penalties and new tracking system. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources V. Alfred Gray remains optimistic about those talks.
I am very confident that it is not as bad as it used to be. I am sure it has not been eliminated, but I can tell you we had audiences with the President of the Dominican Republic, as high as that, the Fisheries Deputy Minister, and the Commodore of their Defense Force in Dominican Republic. And when we left, they also sent a delegation 2 weeks later to the Bahamas to meet with our defense force, and the talks have been, in my view, completed. There is going to be a memorandum of understanding signed very shortly between our foreign ministry and their foreign ministry, with a view to organizing the policing of this poaching that goes on.
Now, a Navy team from the Dominican Republic also visited the Bahamas for a roundtable discussion with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The Dominican Republic government is also pushing to implement its own penalties for poachers caught in the Bahamas in hopes of reducing this illegal activity.
I am satisfied within the next 3 months, if both governments are able to carry out those things which were discussed, I think poaching will almost, in the next 3 months, be a thing of the past. I say that because the Dominican government has undertaken to cause all of their fishing boats to be fitted with GPS monitoring systems, so that if they go beyond their territorial borders, they're able to detect it by a monitoring system. And I have a feeling that education is going to play a major role, because if they educate their people, they fit their fishing boats with GPS systems, I don't see how they could get away with poaching in our waters unless the government is a party to such an event.
Tourism officials making some changes to enhance the #1 industry. These include a restructuring exercise, and according to the Minister of Tourism, Obi Wilscombe, the changes are essential to help the country make a full recovery, improve the quality of service, and upgrade the cultural component of the sector. Obi Wilscombe says to ensure that the Bahamas remains a premier destination, there will be no direct changes at the top executive level, including the post of Director General and his deputy. However, Mr. Wilscombe says the ministry is recruiting a new slate of talented young Bahamians to enhance what's been lacking in the country's #1 industry.
We want a camp of talent, a talent pool that's incredible, because, as I've said before, we want to take local global. We want to show the world what we have to offer. And the Bahamians who are qualified and bring that service level and knowledge is what we are looking for. Now, additionally, we are also causing for more younger people that will be involved in our welcoming, whether it's guest relations, and of course IT.
With more than 5 million visitors gracing our shores annually, and with the launch of its $15 million television promotion during the Super Bowl last month, Mr. Wilscombe says some new promotions are now on tap to broaden the view that the Bahamas has a lot more to offer than just Nassau and the nation's second city.
We have arrived at the point where we understand that the Bahamas is more than just Nassau or Grand Bahama. And because that is the case, we have to ensure that each island has significant promotion. We have to ensure that each island has development, and we've got to ensure that each island is known to the world. We also have our new digital platform to be launched on March 21st. So it's all a part of our campaign, and what we're doing that we've never done before is that it's going to be year-round.
As for domestic tourism, Mr. Wilscombe says the ministry is now looking at new avenues to reduce the cost of airfare and hotel accommodations in the Family Islands.
One of the things that we've been arguing a long time is we need Bahamas Air. Bahamas Air could help us as a friendly carrier meet some of our needs and reduce the cost. It could cause us to cause others to reduce their costs if we get Bahamas Air covering the routes that we require, whether it's Washington, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's New York, whether it's Florida, or creating linkages with the European countries or linkages with the Asian countries or even the Latin American countries. Bahamas Air has to play a greater role, and we're working with the minister responsible, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, and we believe that we are getting there because he's put a plan on the table now, and it's requiring some discussion. But we believe that we're finally moving in that direction. I'm very proud of that.
And when we come back, an Anglican church in the Valley giving free health screenings today. That story and more when the Bahamas Tonight weekend continues.